Hey, my name is Heather. Welcome to my channel if you are new. So I have gestational diabetes and this is my third time having it. So I feel like I sort of know kind of the tricks and trades of gestational diabetes. And when I first got diagnosed with diabetes, I was so overwhelmed. I just didn't know what to do. I had a dietitian explain things, but it was still really hard and confusing. And so I just want to break it down for anybody who just wants diabetes, like gestational diabetes made simple. And so that's what I'm here to do for you. Hopefully I will help you with that. Like I said, this is my third time having this, and there are a lot of myths, like, you know, you ate really bad before your pregnancy, you know, before you got diagnosed and all that. But really, from what I understand, it is 100% like hormonal. It has nothing to do with how big, how small, what you eat beforehand and all that. So don't feel bad if you have gestational diabetes. To talk about how the gestational diabetes, I am not a professional by any means. I just want to put that out there. But I've had it 3 times and I kind of know what works for me. And so I've been able to balance everything just through diet. So I've never had to take any medication or anything like that. And so I want to share with you what has helped me. So first of all, let me explain the carbs to you, because carbs was a whole new thing for me. I didn't understand it. I've never been on a diet, didn't understand food before I, you know, had my first gestational diabetes. So I made a little thing here, and I'm sure that your doctors probably gave you something similar. My second time having gestational diabetes, pretty much they're like, oh, you know what to do, and they just gave me the strips to test, and I was on my own. Like, I didn't remember how to do it, so I had to kind of relearn everything. And so this is pretty much what I relearned, and I'm gonna maybe take a snap of it, and then at the end of the video I will play this out, just so you can write it down if you need to. But this is the key to diabetes. So how to crack the code. So first thing you want to do when you wake up is they want you to prick your finger and take the blood test, and that will be kind of the rising like number. And so because you were asleep and everything, the number should be less than 95. And the way that I figured out how to have it less than 95 is right before I went to bed, or maybe a half hour before I went to bed, before I started getting ready for bed, I would have this yogurt. And it's a Greek yogurt. It's pretty much at every grocery store, and it just has like the perfect amount of carbs. And so when I woke up in the morning, I was fine. Like, it never went over. And so there are 16 carbs in here and 11 protein, which protein is a huge part of the diet as well. So you can pretty much eat as much food as you want. It's not necessarily limiting like what you have, but you want to be smart with it. Like, I have had meals where I have spaghetti squash, and I put, you know, the ground beef and the tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce on spaghetti squash, and I've had a huge plate, and then I'll have like a half of a bagel, like toasted, a whole wheat bagel toasted with butter. And that whole meal, which is pretty much all vegetables and protein, and you want to make sure that you have enough carbs, because if you don't, that can damage your baby's brain, actually, from what I understand. So you do want to stay within the zone that they recommend for you. And so I've had that, like, huge mound of food. I was so full, I couldn't even finish it all. And my numbers were really low. You know, so it's not necessarily what you or the amount you eat, but what you eat. So you can get totally full on every meal, but it's just what you eat that makes a huge difference. And pretty much, to break it down for you, you're gonna wanna eat a ton of meat. Protein is huge because that kind of fills you up. And then a lot of fruits and vegetables mainly, because they're low in carb. And fruits too, because they're still good for you, but you can't have as much. Like water, there are some foods that just have a ton of like fruits that have a ton of carbs. So you really want to write everything down. And so what I do is say I'm gonna have lunch, and I start writing down how many carbs, is in everything. And the way that I do that is I have this nifty app that I use called FitnessPal, or MyFitnessPal, and it literally just tells you exactly what to do. So you'll go into breakfast and you'll say that you want a medium apple. And so it will tell you that a half of an apple is 11 carbs. So if you want a full apple, it would be 22 carbs, which is kind of a lot. So I usually do a half of an apple, and then I'll put like peanut butter in there or something like that. But then you'll write that down. So you'll write down, so it's called MyFitnessPal, and it's awesome. Like, so I would recommend having a little journal to write down everything that you eat and how many carbs. And this MyFitnessPal totally saved me, because even if you go out to Wendy's to eat, which you can do, they give you all of that, the carb counts and everything. So, before we go to a restaurant, I'll know exactly what I'm gonna be getting because of the carbs and everything like that. So anyway, so you wake up, you prick your finger, and it tells you, your numbers for the rest. Your resting numbers is what they call it. And it needs to be less than 95. And and then you can have a snack. Oh no, I'm sorry. Then you have breakfast. And with breakfast, you'll want only 30 to 40 carbs. So that is much less than what lunch and dinner are. So for what I eat pretty much every single morning is I'll have 2 eggs, and I'll have a little oatmeal packet. There's an organic by Quaker, organic oatmeal packet that has, I want to say, like 38 carbs. And so I'll either have that, and I'll have eggs, or I'll have the eggs and toast. And then that usually fills me up, and I'll put butter on the toast. So fat is really not your enemy in this process. Like, you can have pretty much as much fat as you want, which is so crazy. But so you want to make sure to have fat, protein, and then this certain amount of carbs. And so then snack comes, and you want to have from 15 to 30 carbs. And those carbs, you won't be testing. So after breakfast, you'll want to test it as well. So you wait, you eat everything, then you start the clock. And what I do is I write it down in my little journal. They'll give you like a journal to write down all your numbers for the blood test. And so I'll write that number down for when I am, when an hour will be. So that, because I forget things. This is my 4th pregnancy, so I have a lot of kids. So I'll write down the number just in case I forget what time an hour from then is. And so I'll prick my second finger. So you'll test your blood sugar 4 times. For me anyway, I did. And so it's kind of easy because each meal, you know, okay, you're like, okay, this is lunch, so this is the third finger that I have to prick, you know, and they say just to switch them up. So so you'll prick your finger, and after an hour, so I fully eat, then I start the clock to an hour. And usually my numbers come in really good. I've only had a couple times, and the couple times was things that I made from scratch where I didn't have the exact numbers. That was actually a lot harder for me because you kind of have to guesstimate how many carbs you have. And sometimes I'm a little bit over, and sometimes I'm way under. So it just kind of is one of those things where just eat a little less than you maybe think and you should be fine. Some good snacks for in between are, I like Luna bars. They're good. You can have protein drinks, you know, protein milk. I have this. It comes in a big bottle too, and this is actually awesome because there's so much protein in it, which protein, there's something about protein that's really good. So there's 19 grams of protein and 19 carbs. So just drinking one of these, it'll kind of fill you up. It actually tastes really good, surprisingly. And yeah, it's Fair Life it's called, but it tastes like a regular sugary, you know, milk. And it says 50% less sugar. So that has worked really good for me. So you can have cheese. It's interesting because cheese and milk products usually have a lot of protein. So if you can't have milk, then you'll need to go to something else, you know, that has protein. I cook up my chicken every, you know, at the beginning of the week in a crock pot, and then I will cut it all up and I will make chicken salad sandwiches because you can have mayonnaise, you can have avocados, you can have all that. So that is what I make because it's good for the whole week, you know, like, so most lunches I'll have chicken salad sandwich, and I will just put it in the refrigerator and have it, and, you know, and then I'll have, you know, a sandwich bread with it, and usually that's about it. And, you know, usually I'll have like some fruit with it, you know, so just a couple of grapes, or berries are very low in carb, so you can have a lot of berries. You want to measure everything out. So if it says, you know, a half a cup of berries, blueberries, then measure that out and, you know, add it to your journal. So I would get a separate journal just for gestational diabetes, so you know what's going on, you know, what worked, what didn't work. For me, I really did not want to take drugs. That was my #1 thing. So I just ate really clean, to be honest. I ate as much fruits and vegetables as I could, and I actually ate just so healthy, I feel like. And my first pregnancy with gestational diabetes, I did not gain a single pound my whole last trimester. And I think with my second, I gained maybe 3 pounds. So it's crazy because you are gonna feel at the beginning anyway that you are starving. Like they are literally putting you on a diet, and you can't wait for the next meal, and for me, I feel like I'm constantly thinking about food. Even now, with my 3rd time doing this, I feel like I'm constantly thinking about food and what am I gonna eat next? You know, it's what's gonna taste good. So the other thing besides diet is that they're gonna want you to exercise. They say 30 minutes a day at least of exercise. So I'm in the middle of North Carolina, where it is very hot here, and I do not want to go outside because a big pregnant woman, I'm sorry, that's the last thing I want to do is go outside, and I have 3 boys. Yes, I just want to stay inside in the cool. So, and they recommend that you do it after you eat. So what I have kind of taught myself, and I think this has helped as well, is I will work, I'll eat, and then I will go clean my house and walk around and just, you know, do whatever I can to move around. And that, for me, that's cleaning. And it's nice because my house is getting cleaner, but also my numbers have been good as well. So if you just sit there after you eat, your numbers are not going to be as good. So if you eat less carbs, it's okay if you don't work out after, but they do recommend that you work out, you know, that you take a walk or something. So if you're in a little bit cooler place, like, then that will be okay. But for me, I found that, you know, doing the dishes and doing laundry and going up and down the stairs a couple times has really helped drop my numbers, because I have had, you know, where I have the same meal, you know, 2 days in a row, and one I work, you know, I do go around and do things around the house, and the other one I just sit there, and my numbers are drastically different. So I just recommend that, you know, maybe after you eat, I know for me that's when I want to rest, so it's hard because that's when I'm tired usually. But, you know, maybe take a 10-minute breather, but then get up and clean your house, sweep and mop the floors, you know, do the bathrooms, do, you know, just clean or go out and walk, you know, if your house is already clean. And that will make a big difference as well. So anyway, so I hope that these all helped. If you have any questions that I have left out, I would love to help you. The whole reason I'm doing this video is to help you guys, because I know for me it was just so stressful when I first found out that I had it, and I didn't understand the carbs, and I didn't understand, you know, when to eat, when not to eat, and all of that. And I just wish I had a video like this to explain it in just lay terms, like how to do gestational diabetes. Like I said, ask me questions. I would love to share with you what I know, you know, what I've done and all of that. And I just hope and pray that you all do good out there with gestational diabetes, and don't stress out. Try not to. It's really, I mean, it is a big deal, but it's not, like, you know. So anyway, I will hopefully you'll like my channel and you'll subscribe and like it, and I will hopefully talk to you all later. God bless. Bye.